Hello, grade 3. Our new science lesson for this week is about people and resources. And throughout this lesson, we are going to define and explain the term natural resources, and we are going to identify different types of resources that are used by people. First of all, let me start with a general introduction about natural resources. When I say natural, I mean something that is found in nature. That's why we call them natural resources. So, natural resources are divided into two categories. We have renewable resources and the non-renewable resources. When I say a renewable resource, it is a resource that can be replaced easily. And when I say a non-renewable resource, it means a resource that can be used up. And we are going to talk in details about each type of resource in the coming slides. So, let's start by defining a natural resource and let's see what are some natural resources. By definition, a natural resource is something that comes from nature that people can use. For example, the air we breathe and the soil that crops grow in are natural resources. Now, as we said before, a natural resource can be a renewable resource. What is a renewable resource? A renewable resource is one that can be replaced easily. For example, paper and pencils are made from trees, and trees are a renewable resource, so we can plant more trees to make more paper and pencils. That's why it is considered a renewable resource. Now, if we look at the first picture on the left, we can see that the food we eat comes from nature. Fish that are caught in the ocean are a renewable resource. Young fish replace those that are caught. So this is a natural resource that is renewable. In the second picture on the right, we can see that water is an important resource. We drink water and also use it for many other things. So, as we agreed before, not all natural resources are renewable. Some natural resources will eventually be used up and be gone. A non-renewable resource is a natural resource that can be used up. For example, oil, coal, and natural gas are non-renewable resources that we use to produce different kinds of energy, including electricity. We call them fossil fuels. What are fossil fuels? They are fuels that form over years from the remains of once living things. Let's look at the first picture on the left. It shows coal, and coal is a non-renewable resource burned to make electricity. In the second picture on the right, we can see a gemstone. Gemstones, like this ruby, are taken from the ground. Gemstones are a non-renewable resource used to make jewelry. Now, how can we make sure these resources don't disappear too quickly? We have to conserve them. Conservation is saving resources by using them wisely. So, what are some ways that you can use non-renewable resources wisely? You can start by turning off lights when you don't need them. Now, let's move to a different topic, which is the effects of pollution. What is pollution? Pollution is harmful substances in the environment. For example, smoke in the air, chemicals in water, and garbage on land are all examples of pollution. Here on this slide, we have three pictures. These pictures show different types of pollutions. First picture shows land pollution. People did not throw away their garbage properly. Second picture shows air pollution caused by burning fossil fuels such as gasoline in cars. And last one, water pollution. People put harmful things in water. And when chemicals and waste get into water, they cause water pollution. Now we are going to see what is soil. As we said before, soil is a natural resource. And soil is important because most plants need it to grow. Without plants, there would be no food for animals or people. So what is soil? Soil is a mixture of water, air, tiny pieces of rock, and humus. Humus is a rich mixture of the decomposed or broken down remains of plants and animals. We have to know that there are many kinds of soil. Soil can be black, red, brown, gray, and even white. And soil can be moist or dry, and it can contain different kinds of minerals, even gold. So if we look at the picture, we can see that soil is a mixture of decomposing plants and animals, small bits of rock, air, and water. Some kinds of soil are better for growing plants than other kinds. Soil that is very good for plants is called fertile. Now let's see, how does soil form? If you dig deep into the soil, you can see that it has 3 different layers. First layer is called topsoil. Topsoil is the top layer of soil and the most fertile layer because it contains humus. Plants grow in the topsoil. Second layer is called subsoil. Subsoil is the layer beneath topsoil, and it does not have a lot of humus, but it does have small pieces of rock. Bedrock is the last layer deep in the soil, made up of solid rock. Now, let's see how the soil form in details. Let's talk about the process. Soil forms from bedrock. When bedrock is at Earth's surface, it breaks down by weathering. And weathering happens when wind and water break down rock into smaller pieces. So rain, wind, and other things weather bedrock. So big pieces of rock get smaller, and bedrock is broken into small bits of rock. These mix with air, water, and humus to form soil. Now this picture shows the 3 different layers of soil. If we look closely at the picture, we can see that plants and animals can be found above the soil, so they can be found on the surface of soil. Topsoil is the layer of soil closest to Earth's surface. Topsoil is where most plants grow, and it is fertile because it contains humus. Subsoil is 1 or more layers of soil that lie between the topsoil and bedrock, and subsoil contains slightly larger pieces of rock than topsoil and little or no humus. Bedrock is solid rock, so the small pieces of rock in the upper layers of soil come from bedrock. Finally, let's talk about types of soil. As we already said, soil contains humus as well as water, air, and bits of rock. One way to distinguish among soils is by the sizes of their particles. Tiny particles of rock that you can see with just your eyes are called sand. Silt is tiny particles of rock that are difficult to see with only your eyes. And particles of rock that are even smaller than silt are called clay. Now, it is important to know that most soils contain all 3 kinds of soil particles. Plants need water and light to grow. They also need nutrients. What are nutrients? Nutrients are substances that plants take in from the soil through their roots to help them live and grow. And in the picture, we can see a kind of plant taking minerals and substances, which are nutrients, from the soil in order to live and grow. That's it for today. Thank you for watching.